Testing, testing. Good morning. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this micrographics webinar. What we'll be talking today is the new Autodesk Vault 2023 features. So what's new? My name is Aldred Boyd. I will be taking you through this presentation, and I hope you find it informative and learn a little bit today. Okay, so just let's take a look at the agenda today. Before I do that, let me just introduce myself as well. Aldred Boyd, as I said, I have been an application engineer for the last 20 years or so. My main focus on the manufacturing products. So obviously the main one, Inventor, which is our CAD modeling package for the manufacturing side. And then, well, as all the different modules that you come along with it, tube and pipe, cable and harness, the Vault data management system, which is what we're going to be talking about today, as well as AutoCAD electrical and a little bit of 3ds Max. So, if you have any questions on any of those, you can ask me as well. So just we're going to go through a little bit of an introduction on what Vault actually is, as well as then just what we get inside the new Vault features. So AutoCAD add-in enhancements. So if you didn't know, AutoCAD can also directly link inside the Vault as well, and they've done some enhancements to the add-in that you see inside AutoCAD over here. Instance properties. So if you don't know what instance properties is, it was introduced in 2022, and Vault just now handles it much better. User interface enhancements. It's always nice for for a product or software product to get a nice fresh outlook, and with that fresh outlook would be the user interface enhancements. So the UX, UI and the UX. Then the markup enhancements. So markups, it's something that we're always doing. We need to communicate with everyone that's around us, not just the designers, but people who are interacting with the designers, the customers, the clients, your project engineers, the managers. How do we talk to them? Through markups overlaid over your 3D drawings. Lifecycle state colors. So this is, if you're using Vault Basic, you won't know about life cycles. So a life cycle is just the workflow that you go through. I'll explain a little bit about that as well as we get to that slide. Then you've got your design file restrictions. What can you put into Vault and what can you not put into Vault? So they've enhanced that feature a little bit. And probably the biggest thing to take away today is probably the Vault gateway. So we'll have a little chat about that, and then just any questions or answers that we have afterwards. Okay, so moving along, what is Vault? So if you have never looked or seen Vault before, Vault is basically the data management software package that you get with AutoCAD, the full AutoCAD, not AutoCAD LT unfortunately, although Vault Pro does link into your AutoCAD LT. Its main function is to work with Inventor. So as you know, Inventor has, everything just doesn't work in one part or one file. It's all spread over. So you've got your assembly files, you've got your part files, you've got your drawing files, presentation files, sheet metal files, weldment files. Now, how does that all get managed? If you're working with Microsoft Windows, you would have probably noticed sometimes that a little box pops up and it says, which part do you want to use? Because Windows Explorer cannot differentiate or cannot manage the way that the data sees each other. So with Vault, that kind of stuff would fall away. It also gives you a bit of security with it for both your CAD and your Office files. So if you get a brief from someone, you can take it, vault it as we call it. So you put it into the Vault. If they do an addendum to that brief, or you create additional information, then you take it and you can revise that brief or version that brief. So you'll have the two documents sitting there, and you actually be able to see the differences between those two documents as well, which is quite helpful when doing conflict resolution. The Vault, it basically runs inside Autodesk software. So you'll actually find a new tab will pop up on the ribbon. It'll say Vault, and then you've got all your Vault features in there as well. And that's for AutoCAD, for Inventor, even things like 3ds Max and Revit. So Revit is also sort of part of that whole, Revit is also part of the whole Vault infrastructure or environment, as it were. The Microsoft software also has an add-in, so your PowerPoints, your Word documents, or your Microsoft Word, and also your Microsoft Excel. So you can interact with the Vault directly from within your Office software, which is nice because you don't want to have to go to different software packages. You lose focus if everything is concentrated inside the same sort of package with the same user interface. It's much easier to get up and running and interact and manage everything. Okay, and the one thing is like Vault upgrades are very much customer driven. Actually, all Autodesk products upgrades are very much customer driven. So with that, it's in the idea station. So if you've got something that you're struggling with or that you think that would really help benefit your workflow, go to the idea station, put up the idea, get your friends to kudos it or like it, the thumbs up. Autodesk will take a look at it. They'll take a look at their product map. And see if it gets enough likes, where they can slot it in, and also the timeline for that. So just remember that Idea Station, it's not like previously where, we as consumers or customers, didn't have a lot of input into what was new. It was kind of just all sort of driven for Autodesk. But now what we've got is we've got it driven from ourselves, and we are actually now guiding where the software goes, which I think is absolutely fantastic of Autodesk. Okay, so basically, what are we trying to do in Vault 2023? We're just trying to make collaboration easy. We want to deliver stuff out to the world much quicker. And we're kind of doing it in 3 phases. The first one is for authors. So we're upgrading, as I said, the AutoCAD integration. So it's had additional integration with AutoCAD so that you can work much better, much faster, but within AutoCAD instead of having to go to the Vault to do some additional functionality that you want to do, as well as model states. So if you've started in model states on 2022, so that was the kind of replacement, not kind of replacement for iParts and iAssemblies, then it's got additional model state support as well now, which we'll take a look at. Let's see. On the administrator side, okay, so this is probably the biggest thing that Autodesk has done is VPN-less technology. So, we are now living kind of in a COVID world where we're all kind of half working from home, half working from the office. And how do we interact with our data, which is sitting at the office on a server or behind a firewall? Normally what you do is you create a VPN, and there's a lot of administrative stuff over there. So we'll talk a little bit about that and how Autodesk are actually making it easier for us to get through that without a VPN. And then just participants. So if you're running your CAD, you're not the only one who needs to look at this data. You are not the only one who needs to interact with the data, make comments or suggestions on the data that is coming out of the Vault. There are other guys in the supply chain, who need to look at and comment. So we'll take a look at what they've done, what Autodesk has done for Vault 2023 with regards to just providing feedback on that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to take a look at is the AutoCAD add-in enhancements. So once again, just more Vault functionality from within AutoCAD. Great stuff. With this, we don't, as I said, we don't want to jump from program to program. If you can get everything from within the one program you're working with, good for us. So to access the additional functionality, we want to go to our show details. And just the one thing you need to know is once you've checked out or once you've opened up the file from the Vault, you just need to make sure that you've got your XREF manager open. Okay, so that's clue number 1 to get this up and running. And then once you've done that, you'll see the drawing, and also if you've got any XREFs that are attached to this drawing. So if you've got an AutoCAD drawing, you've put it into the Vault. If you've got any XREFs attached to it or any OLE objects, it'll all go and put it into the Vault as well. And if you aren't using Vault with AutoCAD, this is actually a great time. Just take a think about how many times are you working, if you are working with XREFs or sort of pictures and things like that, how many times do you open up a drawing and it's not there? It says, sorry, can't find it, sorry, please look for it. So with the Vault, if you're working with Vault and AutoCAD, that's not going to happen anymore. Vault will take care of all of that. So you actually do not need to worry about having to look for components, files, pictures anymore with regards to that. Vault will manage everything. So as you can see at the bottom over here, you'll see that we've got here, history, uses, where use, change order, bill of materials. So you can now take a look at probably the biggest thing over here is bill of materials now. You can see the drawing at the back is an electrical drawing. So if you're using AutoCAD electrical in conjunction with what it is, Vault, one of the things that you can do is you can create items and create a bill of materials out of all the components that you've put into with AutoCAD Electrical. So all your pilot lights, your switches, your contacts, relays, it'll actually create an item and a bill of materials of that with inside Inventor of each component. So you can go into Vault, or even over here, go into the bill of materials at the bottom and see all the components that you have in here, a complete bill of materials, which I think is fantastic. This is a really, it works really well with your with Vault, this AutoCAD Electrical. But even if you're just using normal AutoCAD, you've got your XREFs or your pictures that you've got in there, or you've maybe linked in an Excel a table of some sort. It'll take all of that. It'll show you uses where used, and even from this as well, you can do a copy design. So that's also, you know, fantastic. You know, you can do a copy design with this from within AutoCAD. You don't even have to go to the Vault Explorer. So just streamlining your workflow a little bit more. Okay, so here's the slide on the copy design. So you'll see there copy design, and it's the same layout. And if you are working on, I think it's pre-2021 or 20, this is where the copy design kind of changed, and it actually is a separate kind of dialog box, which is not, you know, inside your Vault Explorer. So you can actually do copy designs on the side while you're doing other work as well. Okay, so instance properties. Instance properties were introduced in 2022 when you got your model states. Now, what is an instance property? So it's basically, so think about if you've got an assembly and you've got 3 pumps in it, you know, or 3 tanks. And maybe each tank has got a different purpose. You know, one's going to hold oil, one's going to hold water, and one's going to hold a gas of some sort. Now, you know, with these 3 tanks, if you look at your bill of materials, it's all going to have the same part number. So it's actually essentially the same tank. But what might happen is you might have, for maintenance purposes, you know, you might have a tracking number. So that, you know, when if something breaks and you need to go down and fix it, then it needs to have a unique tracking number for that. So if the guy going down to do maintenance goes down, you know, he's just going to see 3 of the same tanks, but you can have a unique identifier saying, okay, great, this is the tank that I want, so you've got to actually go fix the oil. So he knows they needs to drain the oil into a special container, and then either keep it or dispose of that in a special way because it is oil, or, you know, maybe there's a special gasket or rings or something that you need for that. So what it allows us to do is differentiate a component which is exactly the same from, you know, from each other according to special properties that you've given it for, as I said, maintenance or tracking or service information or whatever it is. Okay, so the next thing, we just take a look at a little video on just what it is. So you can see there, I've got 3 of the same tanks, but they're different instances. And in the bill of materials, you'll see there that it actually groups it up, and it says there are 3 of those 2,500 liter vessels. Now, what we can do is we can give it additional information, and by doing that, it actually then splits up those 3 into 3 different instances. And you can see there oxidation, purification, and hydration phase 1. And, you know, on the right hand side there, you can actually see there was also different pressure ratings as well for these tanks. So there, I'm just going to go back here. So there you can see how we are able to, let's go to the end of here. Okay, so now how we are able to actually go and this is the bill of materials here inside your Vault, but you're looking at it inside Vault as well. But it goes and it will then differentiate each one over there by ungrouping it. So it just makes it a little bit easier for someone to see. And, you know, for maintenance, you know, I'll go to my Vault, the thing's already been built, but I don't know which one to go for. I know that I've got to go and change the one with the oil, or I'm going to change the oil. Which one's the one with the oil? You know, you're not going to go, you know, how do you find out? There'll be a little tag number or unique identifier which tells you exactly which one to go and maintain. The next one, I'm going to take a look at a user interface, and I mean, I just love the way that Autodesk has been, you know, changed the user interface. It's just more consistent across all the products. And one of the things I always tell the guys when I'm training them is that how do you learn a new software product? And the thing is recognition. If you can open up something and the buttons look the same, the line command looks the same, the extrude button looks the same, you can then more easily come in and just start and and working, because you know everything. So you can find it, you can find it better. So what they've done with this user interface as well is they've kind of modernized it, which you can see there, the little eye in the top right hand corner there. So they've even modernized and made everything consistent over the product, sort of tags that you've got. But you've got a desktop vault, you've got a web vault, and you've got a mobile vault. And if you didn't know about it, Mobile Vault's actually a nice little application which you can put on your iPad or your Android, and take a look at and see what's going on in your vault. So you don't need to go to your computer. You can just, everyone's got a phone. Pick it up. There we go. Let's just go quickly check something. Now, what they've done is they've made the look consistent across all three. So if you've got dark mode, you'll see dark mode in your desktop, your web, and your mobile vaults as well. So there's only three themes at the moment: classic, light, and dark. And you'll see that the classic is the first one, bottom left. The light is the middle, and the dark theme is on the right hand side. Now, what they've done is, I think there are more themes coming, but I think that'll be in the first service pack, so just look out for that. So there will be more themes coming along as well. Then what is the theme control? Sort of color, frame, background, property panels, and your dialog boxes. So everything's going to look the same. And as I said, the icons have been updated to be more fresh and modern. Okay, all that talk about UI and UX, let's make it happen, Autodesk. Okay, now this one, markup enhancement. So previously in 2022, the way that you did markups is you could only be, unfortunately not in Vault Basic, could only be in the Vault Professional or Work Group. So just Vault Professional, because you could only do it in your ECO, your engineering change orders. Okay, so now what's happened is it's not restricted to change orders. You can actually do your markups at any time in the life cycle. Okay, and once these markups are created, you can save them either externally as an image on your desktop, or you can save it internally in the vault for future viewing. And once you've created, and we'll take a look at the video that comes up next, once you've actually created that markup, what you'll notice is that when you create an engineering change order for that component, that markup will follow it. So it is consistent across everything. And that markup will also be consistent through your desktop client as well as your mobile client as well. And there's an additional markup browsing menu or browsing panel that's now available to you. And in there, what you can do, you can view all the markups. You can search for the markups by either title or user. So if you know what you're searching for, you can do that. Rename markups, and you can also delete markups as well. So you've now got more control over how things are marked up. Just as an aside over here, what Autodesk has done is they've changed the viewer that you use to Forge. So it's no longer the DWF design review that they were using. They've now changed it to the Forge, so it's more consistent as well across all the different the different platforms that you are going to be using. Okay, thin clients also have access to markups. So the thin clients, you can create markups by doing feedback. Okay, but then you will only then be able to save the image out and then send it to whoever the participants are. So if you want to sort of be more active in the markups, etc., inside the Vault, then you'll have to get a Vault license. Okay, so over here you can see how you've opened up the part, you're creating a markup. And you'll also notice that the interface is very much similar if you've looked at Autodesk View. So you can see they're saving as a data inside or as a screenshot, and it gets saved in your markup browsing panel. Once this is created, you can go and create a change order, and with the change order, it brings that markup with it. So you've done that, and look at this. So this is now in the vault on the web. Okay, going to my history, powered by Autodesk Forge, click on markup, and there's the markup that I've got. Okay, and this is in the viewer. You can see your markup as well. So you can go through each of the different markups, and we'll just go change what it is. As you can see over there at the top there, I've got create new markup, and then save the snapshot as well. Okay, so if you've worked with the Autodesk viewer separately to this, you'll see it's very familiar. So they're kind of getting all their user interfaces and experiences to be the same across all the platforms, so that you don't struggle trying to get into this new technology. Okay, so life cycle state colors. So let me just explain life cycles to you if you don't know it. So what happens is, in the life cycle, you've got you can take it through different stages. So when you're working as a designer, most of your stuff will be in work in progress when you can modify it and edit and create. So once it's in work in progress, what you can do then is say, listen, right, once I'm done, let's take it to review. Now, when it goes to review, and you can see over here this lifecycle state I've got here as an item release process. In review, it gets locked out to the designer, and then whoever has access to review will be able to see it and make comments on it and see what happens with it next. If they accept that, it can go to release to manufacture or released. If not, it can go back to work in progress, and then the designer is able to modify it as well. So you can see over here I've also got a quick change. So if you just need to quickly change something without having to go through a whole process, you can do that, as well as obsolete. Say if a product becomes obsolete, you've got that as well. Now, when you've got a long list, large grids of data, so I suppose say data over there, if you wanted to quickly see what's in work in progress, what's in review, what's been released of maybe a very large assembly, it's very difficult, if there's no sort of color identification. And what they've actually done here now is they've created a new column here where you can actually quickly see where something is sitting in the life cycle. And then at least you can expedite, an order or something like that, where it says, okay, great guys, what's actually happening in this? Why has this been sitting in, work in progress or in review? That's where something would be sitting, particularly not move. Why is it sitting in review when we need to get this product out by in 2 days time? So who is the bottleneck? And you can go find those people and then go say, listen, right, you guys need to either accept this or make your changes because we're now running into problems. Okay, and that is great because now you can very quickly over here see what. So I've got 1, 2, 3 parts or components in work in progress, and 1, 2, 3 the tie wrap, the tie down, and the cable mount, which actually shouldn't be like that, is now sitting in review. Okay, so nice to just quickly see where in the life cycle state your components are. Okay, then design file restrictions. So now previously 2022 and down, you just had one button over here. So if you had to go to your Vault settings, you'll see the enforced restriction for checking of design files. There was just basically either don't put it in or do put it in. Okay, and this is typically for things like dragging and dropping IPTs, DWGs, etc. So this is not talking about checking it in from within the product. This is sometimes what people do is their design data needs to be sitting inside the Vault, so they'll drag and drop it into the Vault. So it's just one of the workflows you can do when setting up a Vault. If you don't have it sitting on a server somewhere where people can access. But with that, it was either all or nothing. Now what Vault allows you to do is actually configure what you want to be able to check in by dragging and dropping onto your Vault client. Okay, so you can see there AutoCAD files, AutoCAD architecture, AutoCAD electrical, Inventor, Map, Civil, Revit, Alice. So there we go. So that is just a little bit more control on what you can drag and drop in. Okay, then probably the biggest takeaway out of Vault 2023 is the Vault Gateway. Now, the question you got to ask yourself is before you use Vault Gateway is like, do you need to collaborate with suppliers and third-party collaborators? Do you have a VPN, and do you struggle a lot with a VPN? I know a lot of guys are, because you're working from home, IT has set up a VPN, they've given you credentials, but for the life of yourself, whenever you try and get in, it just does not work. And the frustration leads you to getting IT, you're not working, you're not getting CAD drawings out, and then IT takes an hour or so just to get back to you because they're also busy with other people who might be having trouble with your VPN. And you are sitting there, you can't work, you're frustrated, you can't get to your designs, so you decide, let's just get into my car, drive to the office. It'll be quicker than waiting for these issues to be sorted. Okay, so if you have those kind of issues, then Vault Gateway might be something for you. So Vault Gateway works with an HTTP address, which you will get from the Vault Gateway when you set it up. And just one of the best things about Vault Gateway is no more VPN. Okay. So how does it work? So it's got an SSL connection. just for security wise, you have an optional proxy server authentication as well if you wanted to. There's no firewall exceptions required. There is a minimum password requirement as well, 8 more or more characters. They must have one number and one letter. Windows authentication does not apply for domain independency. And the biggest thing, and just please note this, if you are going to use Vault Gateway, you will need to buy a dedicated extra license for it. Okay, so that is just one of the requirements that you do need to get your Vault Gateway up and running. Okay. And so one thing when Autodesk was considering the Vault Gateway, what do we need? What do the guys need, with this? It's biggest probably thing is connection security. Security. Another thing that people ask is, does it save any of the data? No, it doesn't. It's just basically a gateway. Your data goes right through. Nothing saves any of the data that passes through there. Okay. The gateway also provides access control without your Autodesk account requirements and also with without VPN access requirements. Okay, so once again, just paving the way to a much smoother transition to be able to get your data from behind your firewall. Okay, and then just when they did create Vault Gateway, they kind of looked at a balance between your security requirements, your WAN network barriers, wide access network, and then your administrative efforts. So, how long will it take to get us up and running? Okay. Okay, so just in summary, 3 different sort of areas that they looked at when, creating the new Vault 2023: authoring, administrating, and participation. Focus on the work you love by integrating a lot more into your CAD package. Connect remote users easier, okay, going VPN-less. Great technology, Vault Gateway. Just please remember, you do need an extra Vault license. And then participation markups. The workflow to get to a markup, to create a markup, to share a markup. That's really what you want to do when you are working with the Vault, because you want to get, your work out quicker, get to the relevant people, sort of much faster than you would be if you were emailing something. And once again, with all those markups are saved within Vault for easy access. Great, so that is basically what's new in a nutshell. Do I have any questions? So if I don't see any questions over here. Thank you very much for watching. Try and go to the next slide here. Okay, yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this informative, and we will catch you for the next webinar. Thanks very much, guys.